Hey, what's going on, maniacs? You know who it is. Madman here. That's right, Madman's back with another video. Imagine that. And of course, I'm sure if you've read the title, you know what that video is about. Tattoos! That's right. Alright, so let me explain. Recently, Madman's been getting some questions on and off. I'm starting to see more of a trend. That's what I do when I come up with videos. A lot of times I take questions that I get in messages, private messages, comments, and if I start seeing a trend, then I'd like to answer, the questions and do the video. And I'm seeing a lot of questions about greaser tattoos. So I've kind of decided to do like an overall type video from covering the old days of tattoos into now and my experiences and my tattoos and the Madman's rules of getting tattoos. So sit back, get yourself a beer, get yourself a soda, something like that, get yourself a sandwich, get yourself comfortable, and let's dive into this head first, shall we? So, as many of you know, tattooing is not a new concept. Ancient man has been tattooing themselves for a long, long time. Everything from ancient tribes and clans and groups, different designs and things that relate to their tribes or their experiences. But I'm not here to cover that aspect of it. I want to cover a few different aspects of it. So let's go ahead and fast forward to the 1950s, shall we? So, the 1950s roll around, and you've got this pristine society, this new society that the World War II vets were coming home to. The society of clean-shaven, suit-wearing, keeping up with the Joneses, brand new house, new car, 2.5 kids, and not a minivan because they didn't have them yet. Proper clothing, nice 50s pop standard music, playing on the jukebox, soda shops, and all that sort of stuff. So, how does tattoos come into the 1950s? So let's go ahead and explore about the idea of tattoos in the 1950s. Now, mind you, tattoos were nowhere near as popular in the 1950s as they are in today's America. In the 1950s, tattoos were definitely frowned upon. I mean, think about it like this. If you couldn't go out wearing a leather jacket, sporting a ducktail without people looking sideways at you and having the cops go, come here, boy, where you doing? Where you going? We don't like trouble in this part of town. You look like one of them hoods. Go ahead and assume the position. If you were sporting a tattoo, well, that sure added to it. Now, mind you, some people did sport tattoos in the 50s. Typically former military and current military at the time. Dock workers, ruffians, greasers, rebels. Women that sported tattoos? Oh, no. Trouble. Tramps. Whores. In the 1950s, tattoos were synonymous with tough guys, ruffians, rebels, sailors, military, dock workers, anybody on the lower class part of town, the wrong side of the tracks. Now, mind you, tattoos at that time were not elaborate like they are today. Nowadays, you can get everything from, photorealistic portraits and 3D tattoos where the skin is ripping and something's coming through and all this really amazing artwork. And mind you, it is amazing artwork and it's nice to look at. Personally, not my thing. I would never get anything like that. I like the traditional, old school tattoos. Madman is not what you would call enamored with tattoo culture. I don't follow it. I'm not really interested in it. Tattoos nowadays are a huge thing, but it's not something that I put a lot of emphasis on. In the 50s, you had a lot of rudimentary tattoos. And what would those tattoos be, mind you? Let's see. Let's think about it for a sec. You'd see eagles and snakes and daggers, knives, hearts, pinup girls, dice, 8 balls. Certain things that represented certain feelings or thoughts in the person that got them. And I've had questions of, do you have to get a tattoo to be a greaser? Absolutely not. If anything, it doesn't really even matter anymore. Now, in the 50s, it would have been something that was really rebellious, daring, out there, pretty bold, in your face. People be like, ooh, you know what I mean? Think about the music, the look, ooh. In today's society, tattoos, they're so played out and they're burned out. I mean, let's face it. Everybody and their grandma nowadays has a tattoo. You know, tattooing of today is an industry, and it's nothing more than just that. It is a business and a full-on big money industry. It really has nothing to do with being rebellious anymore. It's just about getting tattoos for the sake of getting tattoos, to look a certain way, and, you know, like I said, you don't have to get tattoos to be a greaser. I personally have tattoos, and those tattoos, the 5 that I do have, were done by my buddy DeVito. Now, you guys might know who that is. If you don't, I'll have his picture posted. He's a good friend of mine. We go way back to high school, doing a whole greaser and psychobilly thing. I got all my tattoos done when I was 19. He was learning how to tattoo. He wanted to practice. He asked me if I had any work that I wanted done. So, yeah, I went and got them done. Now, that leads me to the madman's rules of getting a tattoo. These are my personal rules. You don't have to follow them. It's not mandatory. It's just my opinions and how I like to do it. It's my style. Okay, first off, every tattoo that I get has to mean something to me. Meaning, whatever tattoo I get, it has to have some kind of special meaning to me. It has to represent something about my life or about myself, my personality, and even the style of tattoo that I get represents my style and personality. For all those that have seen my tattoos, they're nothing pretty to look at, and I like it that way. I would never get anything photorealistic. I would never get any of these 3D, elaborate, beautiful designs. As an artist, I like looking at that. It looks nice. It's pretty. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? It's artwork. But it's not something that I'm into wearing as a tattoo. I like the old school stuff. I like the old retro, vintage, and prison-style tattoos. Simple, to the point, gets the message across, gritty. I don't see myself as anything fancy, or there's nothing fancy about my life, and definitely nothing fancy about my attitude. I'm a get on with it, get up and go, and push like hell kind of dude. I always have been, and my tattoos represent, the style of tattoos I get represent me. Nothing fancy, to the point, gets the message across. Old school and gritty. The next rule that the madman follows is I like to design my own work. Okay? As an artist, I like to draw and design my own work. If it's going on my body, it's going to be there forever. Mind you, you can get the laser removal and all that shit, but what was the point of getting the fucking tattoo to begin with if you're just going to get it fucking removed anyway? Yeah, I know, people change, thoughts change. You should have put more thought into that before you fucking got the damn thing. That's why, again, it has to be something that means something to you. You shouldn't be ashamed of stuff you get on your body. Put some thought into it. Okay, anyway, moving to the next thing. I'm backtracking here. Again, I like to do my own work. Okay, so I like to draw it, customize it. I like it to fit me. I like it to represent what I've been through, what I'm into, or things of that nature. And the last major rule that I always follow is I don't get any of my tattoos drunk. And there's a couple of reasons for that. A, I don't want to make any mistakes. I want to be able to see what I'm getting and not be so out of it that I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, bro, it looks good. What do you mean don't move my arm? I gotta drink my beer. Fuck it. Oh, you messed up the lining? Don't fucking worry. Fuck this shit. A, I like to make sure I know what I'm getting. I like to pay attention to it. B, if I'm going to get the fucking tattoo, then I'm going to go through the pain of getting that tattoo. I don't want anything that's going to dull my senses. I like the experience. You want to feel that needle, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm a little bit of a sadist. I don't know. I just like things to be the hard way. That seems to be an occurring thing throughout my life. You can do things the easy way or do things the hard way. Let's do it the fucking hard way. And then they're like, oh boy, here we go. All right. Going in the hard way. And alcohol thins your blood, so you bleed out like a stuck fucking pig. And that's no good. You don't want that. Remember, alcohol thins the blood. No good. You got the shit gushing out of your arm. You don't want that. You don't want it to be any messier than it has to be. blood and the ink and the whole bit. Make sure your tattoo artist doesn't have to sit there and keep doing it over and over and over because you're gushing out the blood, your blood's all thinned out, and your ink is getting thinned out. Do them a favor. Don't drink. So those are a few rules that the madman follows when getting tattoos. They have to mean something. I like to do my own work, and I don't drink when I get them. Now, on to the tattoos. I've had people over the couple of years I've been doing this ask about my tattoos and ask me what they mean to me, what they are, the whole thing, to show them off a little bit. So I decided I will do that. I have pictures. I'll post them somewhere over here, over there, up my ass, around the bends. I don't know, something like that. You guys know the picture. You know the deal here. I'll post some pictures and I'll kind of go over the different tattoos that I have. All right, so the first tattoo, my very, very first tattoo, everybody knows, is the Joker head, which, mind you, is the logo for this channel. Cryptic art, the logo, the Joker's head. Why do I have a Joker's head with a pompadour and the hat, the court jester? Because I was always a fucking class clown, and there's a song. There's a song by the Chop Tops called Joker's Always Wild. When I was in high school, I loved that song. And there's a cryptic message within that song. And again, cryptic art. I think it goes hand in hand here with the Madman's channel, cryptic art. There's a kind of a cryptic message within that song that I felt was necessary to kind of live my life by. Not taking things seriously, not, letting people hurt me or walk all over me, all that kind of stuff. Joker's always wild. You never know what you're going to get. A court jester. Now, I'm also going to show you another picture as well. The very, very first rendition that I did when I was 16 years old, when I designed this tattoo. I first heard this song. I've been wanting that tattoo since I was 16. I had 3 years to plan it. And there's been a few different renditions, but I'll post the picture of the first rendition because I still have it. So go ahead and take a look at that. Versus what I got now and versus what that Joker head became later on in my life. Yeah, art's improved a lot. It's had a lot of different revisions. My Joker's head is like a shield of armor almost. It's like a badge, I love it. I'd never get rid of it. No regrets, damn it. The next tattoo is a Stray Cats head. The logo for the Stray Cats. Stray Cats have always been one of my favorite rockabilly bands. One of the big revival bands of the late 70s and early 80s. I always thought it was very fitting. And I'll tell you, the Stray Cats, especially with their Rumble in Brixton DVD and tour, the big European tour that they did, it really woke me up to the whole rockabilly scene worldwide. And I always felt the Stray Cats were very, very influential in my growth within this scene and really starting to understand the music and loving the history of the whole thing. So Stray Cats, again, one of my favorite rockabilly bands, will always be there. So got to get a tattoo to represent that. It represents that time in my life. Alright, third tattoo. The pinup girl. The pinup girl on my forearm. I had to get something, I had to get some kind of a pinup done. Had to be. So I got the pinup done, and I wanted something that kind of was a little bit different. I wanted something that didn't look like every other pinup girl. And to me, again, it represents that old school 1950s pinup girl on the forearm. And it's that old retro beauty. It's not perfect. She's not the most perfect. She's kind of skinny. I wanted that kind of finding beauty in imperfection kind of a thing, It represents old school beauty. You look at old school pinup girls. They're not usually the most skinny or the most shapely. Sometimes they're a little chunkier, a little overweight. You got a little bit of this, a little tuck and fold over here. But they're still beautiful. Those are real women, not this fake Barbie doll plastic fucking suction cup, this, that, and the other bullshit you see nowadays. I wanted something that represented that time. Something that people would look at now and kind of go, oh, she doesn't look all that perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real. So that sits on my forearm and is always a reminder to me for that very reason. Okay, number 4, the elephant, the raging warrior elephant. Now, here's a little bit of trivia for some of you cats and kittens out there. One of the madman's most favorite animals is an elephant. When I was a kid, elephants, I had statues and all kinds of toys and stuff that were elephants. I got to ride an elephant when I was up in Northern California at the zoo. It was absolutely great. They are huge. When you are in the presence of an elephant, you're like this. Fuck. You're like, shit, that's a big animal. Elephants to me have always been very, very special. They're huge, massive land creatures. Heart of gold, but don't fucking piss them off. Shit, I remember seeing this video was it some years back? I want to say like 3-4 years ago, something like that. It was like at some kind of a zoo or some kind of an exhibit where they had the big gate, they had the big paddock for the elephants, and the guy was trying to close the gate in time, and this elephant was pissed off for one reason or another. Man, he smacked into that gate and sent that guy fucking flying about 30 feet. I'm like, the power of those things is just amazing. You know, they're so sweet and docile, but they can just be a complete nightmare. And you think about it, elephants are wise and they never forget. They live for a long, long time, and some of them go through some serious fucking battles. So if you look at that elephant and look at the picture, it's the raging warrior elephant. His ears are torn to shit. He's got a crown on his head. He's the fucking king, man. There's nothing more dangerous than experience and wisdom. And wars. Countless wars, and the fucker is still alive. So that represents that heart to me, that warrior strength, that warrior heart, you know, the old world kind of wisdom and strength and power. And then number 5, the chest piece. The Pisces symbol. That's me. I'm Pisces. I designed that myself. I really loved how it came out. That was a pretty big job DeVito did, and it took a while, and it was pretty painful, especially up around the collarbone. You know, the little part of the sign goes just underneath the collarbone. You could feel it and just grind it on that. And then, of course, down around the nipple, and that fucker wanted to dot my nipple with the fucking, with the needle. I was like, don't you fucking do it, man. DeVito, if you're watching this, you remember, too. Like, I'm going to dot that shit. Like, don't fucking do this shit, man. Just do the fucking tattoo. He's like, I'm going to do it. But anyway, again, astrology has always been kind of a big thing to me. I'm interested in it. I did have my chart done some years later, and 2 more, my ascendant, and then you get your ascendant, and then your fucking moon sign. I want to get those done as well someday. And mind you, I do want to get some more tattoos eventually. I have them already planned out and kind of what I'm looking for. And each one of them do represent something very special to me. Now, should you get a tattoo? Well, that's up to you. I had people asking me, give me a recommendation on a greaser tattoo. I can't do it, won't do it. You couldn't recommend me a tattoo even if you fucking tried. You could try to sit there and say, I'll buy you a fucking tattoo, but you have to get this or you have to get that. I ain't gonna do it. Wouldn't go for it. Okay? It has to mean something to me. It's something I plan out. I take my time on it. I think my process through about what I want and why I want it. Someday when I'm an old man, I have even more tattoos. I want people to be able to sit back and say, you really lived a full life. Like, your story is on you. You can see it. It's there. I like that. But essentially, should you get a tattoo to be a greaser? No. Can I recommend you a tattoo to be a greaser? No. That's something you're going to have to come to for yourself. Whether you want them, what you want them to say about you. You know, it's a deeper thing to me. And that's just my opinion. So don't message me about asking, should I get this tattoo or should you get that tattoo? You need to think about that for yourself. I want you guys to think for yourselves. Just because I have something or just because I do something doesn't mean it's right for you. Again, you don't have to have a tattoo to be a greaser. Do I think it adds to the look and the style? For sure. Do I like the old retro tattoos and the look of the vintage stuff? Fuck yeah. Do I follow the tattoo industry real heavily? Do I know all the different, players and big-time artists? No, I could care fucking less, to be honest with you. I'm obsessed with what I'm doing. I don't have time to follow that, and, I don't really think much about my tattoos. I have them. I enjoy them. They are what they are. They represent something to me. And then I just fucking, I move on. I don't think much about it. So anyway, hopefully that clears some of that up for those that are younger or even older that are getting in the scene, that are interested in tattoos. Again, get something for yourself that means something to you. That's the best advice I got for you. And as always, if you don't know, get a clue, get a brew, get a rock and roll tattoo. Hang loose, be safe. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Madman is out.